Hey guys, Kim here with Like Tesla. So before I even begin, I want to make sure you guys are subscribed to our channel, you give this video a big thumbs up, and you've hit the bell for notifications. So we get a lot of questions from you guys, and I've noticed an influx of questions regarding kind of the same sort of things. So a lot of people want to know about buying a used Tesla. Maybe they're not ready to shell out $50,000 or more right now on a brand new Tesla, or they just like the idea of, getting a good deal or whatever the reason is, right? But it's very confusing, especially if you have not been following Tesla for a long time. So there are a lot of questions regarding the technology in these cars and the terminology that's being used. Also, Tesla doesn't do model years and battery degradation. So these are really great questions. We are going to cover them all today. Big thanks to Kern Automotive for supporting this channel. They are the nation's first online, pre-owned EV retailer. They exclusively buy and sell electric vehicles and are the Tesla experts. If you need to sell your Tesla, check out kernautomotive.com, click on We Buy Teslas, and they'll send you everything you need to sell your Tesla, and they'll pick it up anywhere in the continental US. So let's first take a look at the Tesla model year dilemma. The question gets asked a lot whether you're buying a new or an old Tesla. Tesla is actually unlike any other vehicle in this sense because it does not follow the model year tradition though. Instead, the features inside the vehicle determine its value more than the date that it was manufactured. Also, Tesla has never introduced these changes in any set yearly interval. They've always gone with what they call ongoing updates that improve the vehicle right away versus waiting for the next calendar year to introduce them. If you're still curious though about the year, there is a sticker on the driver's lower right side that will indicate a month and a year of production. So a car built in January, the sticker will say January 2019, but the car may very well have zero differences from the one produced the last production day of December 2018. You've probably heard that these cars are basically computers on wheels, and that is partly true since they are primarily software driven and constantly improving and updating. And what makes one Tesla significantly more affordable than another are its hardware features that in some cases cannot be retrofitted, and a few of these hardware features over the past year have thrown the used Tesla market into a complete frenzy. And this brings us to the most common question about buying a used Tesla, which in most cases is the largest factor of the price that you'll end up paying for in your car. This has to do with exactly when each version of Autopilot was introduced and how that stacks up versus what you're looking to buy. Unfortunately, most of these hardware features cannot be retrofitted, so you get what you pay for in a sense. So here is a quick history lesson. Autopilot hardware was first introduced in October 2014. Back then, it only offered basic lane keeping, accelerating, decelerating, and parking features. Tesla calls this simply Autopilot. But if you're looking at the used market, you'll hear people refer to it as Autopilot 1 or AP1, which is the first gen Autopilot. These cars have held their value respectively well considering, especially compared to Tesla's prior to October 2014, because those cars have no autopilot capabilities at all and are often called the driver's Tesla. So Tesla had a partnership with an Israeli company called Mobileye, who is responsible for these first-gen autopilot features. But just 2 years after it was released in October 2016, Tesla announced that they had ended their partnership with Mobileye and introduced their own more robust version of Autopilot hardware, which they built in-house, of course. Tesla calls this version Enhanced Autopilot, but you'll hear people in the private used market call it Autopilot 2. So this second generation Autopilot, or AP2, has more cameras and sensors, and now includes full self-driving features like the ability to automatically change lanes without requiring driver's input, transition from freeway to freeway, and it now has Smart Summon, which you've probably heard about, which basically allows you to have your car come and find you in a parking lot. And if that wasn't enough, about 10 months later in August 2017, Tesla announced more hardware changes. Cars produced after August 2017 have an even more powerful hardware suite, which people refer to as Autopilot 2.5. And again, nearly 2 more years pass, and in April 2019, Tesla unveiled its Hardware 3 cars, claiming that its full self-driving computers is now objectively the best self-driving chip in the world. And here is where it can get really confusing when you're on Tesla's used inventory page. Tesla will not list these differences between Autopilot 1 hardware or AP2, 2.5, and so on, as to not confuse the buyers. Instead, they list AP1 cars as simply Autopilot with convenience features, while the ones with full self-driving AP2 and above are enhanced Autopilot. So I hope that makes sense. If not, you can pause and rewatch this again. So if you're buying a Tesla and really want to have more than the basic lane and distance keeping features of Autopilot and a few other features like basic summon, make sure you ask or check that side sticker to see if it was built after October 2016. However, Teslas built after this date will all have enhanced Autopilot, and you don't necessarily need to worry about that more powerful chip that was added in later years, since they can actually retrofit cars built after this date with their latest self-driving chip in just a couple of minutes by popping in the new chip. And if you paid for full self-driving up front, this retrofit is actually free. And if you just want the so-called driver's Tesla, the one with no Autopilot at all, look for cars built between 2012 and September 2014. These are often significantly cheaper than the more techie Teslas and can still look and in a lot of ways perform just as good as the newer models. Of course, all Model 3s have the proper hardware you need for future full self-driving, so no worries there. But if you're in the market for an S or X, Autopilot 1 versus 2 is something that can significantly create a spread in prices between one Tesla and another. I personally love some of the self-driving features that are available with the new enhanced Autopilot, like navigate on Autopilot, but if you don't take a lot of road trips or commute to work, this may not be worthwhile to you. Save bigger and go with the pre-October 2014 cars and avoid Autopilot altogether. And the last big question that always seems to come up with used Teslas is battery degradation and miles. Now, the miles part is something that if you're coming from a gas car might scare you if, say, you see something more than 50,000 miles on the odometer, but you have to remember Teslas have something like 15 moving parts, and the car's motors are rated to last anywhere from 500,000 to 1,000,000 miles. So 50,000 miles should not be something to worry about. Also, many older Teslas come with unlimited miles and 8-year warranties on both the batteries and motors, so even the oldest Model S that you could buy would still come with a valid factory warranty on those two parts to ease your fears. When it comes to batteries, people always compare them to cell phones and laptops and relate it as if it's something that will need replacing after a couple of years because it will fail to hold its charge. However, this couldn't be farthest from the truth.
Well, behind the scenes here.
It is.
See the battery for your cell phone? It goes from here to there. All the way to here.
Tesla batteries are easily the most advanced batteries in the world. They are thermally regulated and remotely monitored, so the health of each cell module is pretty well maintained. This is why the batteries are rated to last about 500,000 miles with over 70% of the original capacity, even if they were used and abused. We actually made a video about how foolproof the Tesla batteries really are, regardless of how crazy your charging habits are. They actually contacted a battery expert at HQ to confirm this. So I tweeted Elon about Tesla's stance on the best state of charge for battery longevity, and he actually got back to us. He recommended, quote, "Not worth going below 80% in my opinion, even 90% is still fine, and also no issues going to 5% or lower state of charge." What is true is that lithium-ion batteries do experience some degradation, but because of the car's advanced thermal management system, a car's range is preserved for hundreds of thousands of miles. So Teslas from 7 years ago are still going to offer 80 to 90% of their original range even after driving hundreds of thousands of miles. Hope that this video has helped break down some of the differences between used Teslas that create those huge price gaps between each vehicle, and now you have a better idea of what to look for and ask for when you're in the market for a used Tesla. If you have more questions, feel free to post them in the comments below. And as always, remember to stay current. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you're subscribed, you've hit that bell for notifications, and we'll see you guys next time. All right, guys, hope you enjoyed this video, and feel free to check out some of the over 200 EV and Tesla-inspired videos on our channel. And thanks as always for continuing to support us by shopping on our website, LikeTeslaKim.com. Check out some of the fun designs, Elon quotes, and more for men, women, and kids.